Good morning. Today is November 6th, and I'm going to do a really short pre-frost garden tour of my front yard garden. We're located between Athens and Hartwell, Georgia. We're in Zone 8A, and we technically get our first frost on November 1st, which we did, but it was so light that the only real casualties were my coleus, unfortunately. They were so absolutely gorgeous. If you saw my last garden tour, you might have seen them. I don't know if they were in that one or not, but they're like a beautiful ruffle coleus that I got from Rare Seeds. I started those from seed and they were absolutely gorgeous. I'm sad that they are gone. But other than that, everything is fine. I've got a few seedlings here waiting for me to pot them up to my green stalks. This was where the bush pea, cow peas were at. We decided to go ahead and take those out after their last flush of peas because the peas in the main part of the garden were doing so well. And we've got a cover crop going in here for our meat chickens, which you can probably hear. They are in a chicken tractor right now, and they're moving several times a day on my cover crop that I've been working really hard on in the side yard. And so they will come here next into this garden. This weedy mess right here is horehound, and it loves the cool weather. So let's see, this is a seedling table, green bean tunnel. We talked about that in the last garden tour. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the summer stuff because we talked about that already. I do want to show you these cachucha peppers. I think in the last video they were all green and they all started turning this purple color with the purple shoulders. I've used these in bouquets. They are absolutely gorgeous. My favorite new pepper, they ripen to an orangey red color, and you can pick them like this and they'll continue to ripen, and they're a sweet pepper. I think they will be good for making things like paprika and stuff like that. And they're such a pretty pepper, and they're so huge. Like this one's almost as tall as my eyeballs, and I'm really happy with it. I just think that I think I started my peppers a little late this year. I definitely need to get them in the ground. I definitely need to get them started earlier and maybe potted up before I put them in the ground in May. So we talked about all this already. So I'm gonna bring you over here. I have one carrot. This is why I ended up leaving my son's carrots, is because I was hoping for some carrot blooms. And I have one, let's see if I can get a pretty sunrise shot. Anyways, I have one carrot bloom. Isn't it so pretty? I'm so excited. And I think this might be coming from one of those NIF dark purple carrots that Baker Creek sells. So I may try to collect the seeds from that and see how that goes. I'm probably going to leave these until the spring though and see if we can get a full pool of carrot blooms. I think that would be gorgeous. Most of my asters are all bloomed out now. This area where I tried to grow peas sprouted a whole bunch of zinnias, and they're all blooming. So late fall, November zinnia blooms. So that's crazy. This was an empty bed the last time around. It's full of cabbages. So we'll see how that goes. Like I said, we had our first frost on November 1st, right on time. But it was so light that it wasn't a killing frost. But this coming week, they're saying it's going to get down pretty dang cold. So I don't know what the prognosis is going to be for these cabbages and broccolis and stuff. I'm hoping that they'll overwinter and produce in the spring. I don't know if there's enough warmish days left of the year. It'll be an experiment, and we'll all find out together. There's an Everglades tomato back there. I think it's got green tomatoes on it. This sugar snap pea has started to produce. I might have sugar snap peas at the farmer's market next week because look at this green stalk. It is completely covered in peas. I'm really excited with how this turned out. There's a whole bunch of yellow ones. I think there might have been a few purples in there, but I don't see any purples yet. There are purple blooms, but the purple blooms are for the yellow pea, which I think the purple pea also has purple blooms. I just mean the purple bloom doesn't necessarily say what color pea it is. But I'm really hoping to have a few pints of snap peas at the farmer's market. I think that will be cool. If you're local, check out the Comer Farmers Market Facebook page. We have some fun hours and stuff going on for the wintertime schedule. All right, so last video, these were teeny tiny seedlings. I have already harvested mustards one time. We harvested 4.5 pounds of mustard grains out of this bed. It was so many mustard grains. My husband just kept filling the pot and filling the pot and filling the pot. He ended up making about 4 quarts. It ended up making about 4 quarts of grains, which he ate off of for the entire week. He was happy. And they look like they're ready to be picked again. The mustards, I had planted 2 packs of mustard seeds because I had an old pack and I wasn't sure if they were going to germinate. And I believe every single stinking one of them germinated. So the kale and collards kind of got shaded out. But I'm going to pick these mustards one more time, and then hopefully the kale and collards will have a good chance to get up and going. I had planted rutabagas between the broccoli, but apparently chickens love rutabagas because I had a problem with my pullet girls flying over the fence, and they were in here every morning eating my seedlings. So I finally gotten that taken care of. All the pullets have gone back to the coop until everybody starts laying, and then they can start free ranging in the backyard. But for now, I'm not going to have any rutabagas, sadly. These are broccoli, and they look very, very nice. Larger. I got them in the ground earlier this year than I did last year, but I don't know if that means we're going to have broccoli or not. We may not have any until the spring, and if it gets super, super cold, they may not make it through the winter, but we'll see. There's a Napa Chardonnay cherry tomato that's still hanging on. It's got a little bit of purpling damage to the leaves from the frost. And then this bed is also full of broccoli. Excuse me. I had put some late after I'd planted all of this. I forgot I had Brussels sprouts, and I stuck them in the ground over there, but obviously when I planted these was perfect timing, or maybe even should have planted them earlier. But when I planted the second round, I planted some replacements, and I planted these. They just didn't do as well. This ice cream sunflower is still going. I did several bouquets off of this with some purple flowers, and it was so pretty. But look, it's still got buds. There's still buds everywhere. This wasn't my favorite sunflower to begin with, but now I really like it. I have one of those. If you saw my last video, I was talking about trying to get peas started on this trellis, and this is the only one that grew. And my son and I get maybe 1 or 2 pea pods off of it a week. Now these sunflowers, everybody thinks positive blooming thoughts, okay? Because these sunflowers are, I mean, locked and loaded. They are so close to blooming, and we are so close to 20-degree weather. So these guys need to kick it into high gear. Got a bunch of buds on the zinnias down there too. But these guys need to kick it into high gear. I really want that frosty sunflower pick. So hopefully they will bloom. Last look at the cabbage. I have a few cabbages tucked up underneath the asparagus there. Oh, I wanted to show you a surprise. My son and I were I was pulling out a bunch of sweet potato vines to feed the rabbits, and look what I found. So in the last video I told you that I didn't think that we had any pumpkins off that Seminole. We have one. It's not huge, but it is a pumpkin. And I'm going to save seeds out of it, and we'll make a pie or something. I don't believe there are any more. I don't see any more up in there. When I was pulling up the vines for the rabbits, I pulled a few little teeny tiny sweet potatoes out of the ground, so I'm not expecting much as far as sweet potatoes go. But again, I mainly just grew these. They were late. I was late getting them in the ground, and I mainly just grew these for greens for the rabbits, which worked really well. And you can tell these kind of did get damaged from the cold. So that's it. Oh, yeah. One last thing is the green stalk. Next year, this worked perfectly. I have harvested so many green beans. I am going to, once we get the frost, I'm going to go ahead and take these. Actually, since it's looking like we're definitely getting a hard freeze, because they're saying it's going to be in the 20s for a couple of nights, I may go ahead and cut these and feed them to the chickens. I harvested some off of it the other night, just like a single serving. And next year, when I do this, I am not putting the purple TP beans in the bottom. If this had have been all jade beans, the harvest would have been double what we got. But because I use these purple TP beans, they're labeled as bush, but they really vined. So next year, I think we love the taste of the purple TP beans, so next year I'm going to interplant them with my rattlesnakes on the green bean tunnel instead of putting them in the green stalk. So yeah, and then this green stalk will get pansies, I think, since it's right here by the house. I need to see if I can find some flats of pansies on clearance. This is an original green stalk, so I have 5 tiers. Alrighty, well, I just wanted to show y'all what it looked like, how the fall stuff was growing. There was one potato in this bed over here that I had showed y'all last time. I did end up sticking a couple of cabbages, red cabbages, but they look like they're bolting. And I do have some beets coming up in there. But it looks like they germinated on this end and that end down there. And then I put a couple of Napa cabbages in. They got a little frost damage, and the bugs are eating the crap out of them, but they're still going. So, and the potatoes are still going. We still have Schrodinger's potatoes. We don't know if there are just roots down there or if we have tubers. So we'll see. don't know, are potatoes tubers? I don't know. Maybe I'll do a video whenever we go to dig those. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If we get a good frost, a good heavy frost so that it would warrant some pretty video, I will try to do a frosty morning video. I know last year I said that we were going to do that, and then we never got a frost, and by the time we did get a frost, the garden was just mostly dead. So more sunflowers over here that are just about ready to pop. I'm really hoping that I don't know if it's possible that the frost damaged the bud and they won't bloom. They look fine, but I guess we'll see. So it's about the end of the year, going into the holiday season. We will talk to you guys next time.